Hi, my name is Tom Palmer, and today is August 30th, 2014, and I am at the Midwest Skydivers Reunion, Ray, Michigan, to meet up with all my old buddies from the 1970s. And skydiving has been probably the funnest thing I've ever done. Met great people. Just it's been something that's just uh, made my life a lot of fun. Just something really fun to do, and look forward to it every weekend. When I was jumping hard back in the '70s, started in 1973 at a little grass strip drop zone in Charlotte, Ohio. Jerry Clifton was running that place, and he should be here today, by the way. And just had an old straight tail 182, just a little grass strip drop zone, and started with the static lines and the 28 footers, and started that way with the chest mounted rigs and converted military gear. That's how we started, and did my 5 static lines, and then started with the hop and pops and the 5-second delays and worked our way up, and pretty soon we were doing 4-man stars out of that 182, and that was such a thrill. And back then that was the cutting edge stuff almost, jumping out of them and Beach 18s, and the guys at that drop zone had the second 8-man star in Ohio, and I was on the third 8-man star in Ohio that later that summer, and we did it out of a 182 and a Cherokee 6. So we were, at a time when all that stuff was starting, so it was pretty exciting. And then the new gear started coming out, the piggyback rigs and everything got modern. Custom-made equipment instead of all the converted military gears. And of course the ram air parachutes started the whole revolution in the canopies and everything. And, it was an exciting time to see all that stuff start up. And jumped also at Fort Wayne at Parasport, the drop zone there. Denny Hand ran that, and got my my rigger's license over there. And doing some, a lot of 4-way sequential stuff, and hooked up with some more guys in Fort Wayne, and ended up on the Misfits 10-man team. And there's some of the Misfits here, and we went to the Nationals in I think it was 75 and 76, but we started jumping around Michigan and Indiana. Bob Branch had a DC-3. There was another DC-3. Sturgis and Marshall, and a lot of jumps at Athens. And started doing all the big way stuff. Lockheed Lodestar was there too. We did 30-man attempts, 40-man attempts, 16-man, 24-man sequential. Nick Lucas from the Beach Nuts organized a lot of that, a lot of those loads, and that was so much fun. And on your little sheet, you were asking what was the most memorable jump, and Nick Lucas put together this. We were doing bigger stuff, but one of the funnest jumps, I always remember this, was it was a 16-man diamond, which broke into 4 quadra diamonds, and then we docked like spaceships, docking the 4-man diamonds together into a quadra diamond, and then the diamonds turned and rotated, and then the diamonds flew apart, and then all 4 guys, each 4 skydivers in each diamond split up from that. And it was just one of those beautiful jumps. Everything just went like clockwork, and to sit there and watch that was like spaceships docking, it was so cool. And that was in 75, I think, we did that. And we put together a number of 24 ways, 26 ways and stuff. We're trying to get to what was the world record at the time. We're trying to break 30. We had did some 30-way and 40-way attempts. We had the biggest one we put together that summer was a 29-man, and that's one of those patches. It was a 30. I think it was a 30-way attempt, but the 30th guy took it out because it was just a star, big, getting a little unstable, and the 30th guy took one side of it out, and so it wasn't quite. So that was one of those patches. We made it up at the parachute loft. And by this time I was working for John Sherman at the Jump Shack, Light Flight Incorporated, because I was a rigger, and so he and Mike Johnson hired me up there as a rigger and built the SSTs, and repaired and packed the reserves, and manufactured the rigs. And it was a great opportunity. I learned everything about parachute gear and how to build it, maintain it, and from those guys there, it was a lot of fun. And for a while, I worked for Midwest Parachute, Tom Campos' place there in Novi, Michigan, for a while as well. And then I got into my flying career, which is what I'm doing now. So, kind of got out of skydiving a little bit. Just didn't have time to do it. I was always working on weekends and things like that. But I didn't make a jump for about 22 years, I think, after doing all that big wave stuff. That 29 man was the biggest one I ended up being in back then. But kind of got the bug to do it. Ran into some of my old friends from Ohio and Indiana, and picked up some used gear and started falling out of 182s again just for fun. So been making a few jumps every summer, and had a couple fun 5-way jumps here yesterday with some of the old guys from the 70s. It's been a riot. One of those sports that pretty much lasts forever. It's exciting to see the new extreme sport angle on the sport. These guys that are doing the wingsuits down the ski slopes and out of helicopters down the mountainsides and everything. That is so cool. I wish I was younger. I'd be doing that too, but I have fun just watching those guys. So, and I think more of that is it's becoming in its own right an extreme sport. And you see it on TV. Back in the 70s, you never saw it except on the Ripcord show, and that was it, And that's what got me hooked, by the way. I didn't mention that when I was a kid. Sky King was on, and then Ripcord was on right after that, I think. And Sky King was cool because they had airplanes, and I was nuts about airplanes anyway, and that's what my career is. But Ripcord was even cooler because they had airplanes and parachutes, and those guys would just go out in the desert someplace and just jump in. I thought that was so cool, I said, I got to do that, and I did. And when I was in college, I learned about aerosport in Ohio, Jerry Clifton's little drop zone. Somebody told me, I said, I want to skydive someplace. And I said, yeah, there's a place over in Ohio. So I rode my motorcycle over there one day and tracked it down, and and here I am. But that's where I got my start, and it's been a great sport. That's about it for my story, but I kind of got into aviation backwards because I started out as skydiving. I had my private pilot's license, but a couple of my skydiving buddies ended up working as commercial pilots for charter operations, and because I knew those guys, I was able to weasel my way into some flying jobs, and now I'm flying 747s for a living, and it's all because of skydiving. So it's been a great career, and really the parachute, and I built time flying the jump planes too. That's how I built all my time, flying Jerry's 182 and Kenny Coleman's 182. I soloed a Beech 18 with 12 jumpers in the back. That was my first solo flight in Beech 18 after I got my Mully engine rating. So skydiving's been good to me. That's about it, I think, Jeff.